finagly consented to assist her friend as a tour guide, unaware that the seemingly ordinary American tourist was a millionaire in search of genuine love. The sun dipped gently over Charleston's waterfront, casting the Battery in shades of gold and pink, while gulls soared gracefully above the harbor. Lily lingered at the brink of the tourist dock, arms folded, her sneakers brushing against the worn wooden planks beneath her. At 27, she had mastered the cadence of selling cruise tickets and sidestepping the occasional inebriated sailor, but today her closest friend, Mia, had enlisted her for an unexpected task, stepping in as a tour guide for some guy due to a family emergency. Lily's phone vibrated with a message from Mia, filled with apologies, yet she chose to overlook it, her gaze sweeping through the crowd in search of her late client. The salty breeze played with her ponytail as she glanced at her watch, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. A man strolled toward her, his hands tucked into the pockets of worn jeans, a flannel shirt hanging loosely and sleeves casually rolled up. He appeared to be just another traveler, in his mid-30s, with a scruffy jaw and sunglasses resting atop his head. Yet the casual confidence in his stride rubbed her the wrong way immediately. She narrowed her eyes at the name hastily written on her clipboard. "You're Michael," she called, her voice cutting through the gentle rhythm of the waves. "You're 20 minutes late. I've been waiting here for ages." He paused, an eyebrow arched, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. "No worries. I simply lost my way for a moment. Are you often this overwhelmed?" Lily's jaw clenched, her fingers tightening around the clipboard. "Feeling overwhelmed? If my time isn't valued, I won't be spending the day showing you around Charleston." He let out a soft laugh, completely unbothered, as he adjusted his sunglasses. "Okay, I see your perspective, but I'm present at this moment, so let's collaborate and find a solution. Shall we?" His tone was playful and mocking, only serving to heighten her irritation. She released a breath through her nostrils, compelling a firm nod. "Very well, come along. The boat is in this direction." She pivoted sharply, making her way to the dock where a modest tour cruiser floated, its engine humming softly. Michael matched her stride, the sound of his boots echoing behind her, and she sensed his gaze, intrigued, perhaps even entertained, piercing into her back. They boarded, and she began her well-practiced narrative about Charleston's history, pirates, plantations, and cobblestone streets. However, her words were often cut off by his interruptions, each question oddly specific, as if he were already familiar with half the answers. What was the reason for constructing the Battery at such a low level? He inquired, resting against the rail as the vessel sliced through the waves. "It appears to be a disaster just around the corner." Lily cast him a glance, her ponytail swaying gracefully. Alas, they did not. Back then, there was no foresight for hurricanes. "Are you planning to quiz me all day long?" "Perhaps," he remarked with a smile. "Your skills in this area are impressive. Need to ignite some creativity." She rolled her eyes, redirecting the discussion toward the looming presence of Fort Sumter. Yet his nonchalant assurance pricked at her nerves. He moved through the space with a quiet observance, avoiding the typical tourist behavior of gaping and taking endless selfies. His gaze was fixed on her, ignoring the landscape, and it unsettled her. Lily was a force of passion and determination, immersing herself in the tales of Charleston. Yet she guarded her own narrative closely after a boyfriend who chose a simpler path over her complexity. Trust had become a rare commodity. Michael, however, was not what he appeared to be either. Michael Hayes, 35, was more than just a man with a backpack and worn-out boots. He had amassed a considerable wealth by transforming historic properties, including mansions, theaters, and entire city blocks, all while maintaining a low profile. Charleston became his sanctuary, a destination to discover authenticity after a string of superficial encounters and opportunistic relationships. Lily, armed with her biting wit and a piercing gaze, exceeded all his expectations. They returned to the harbor, the tour coming to a close as the sky deepened into shades of violet. Lily presented him with a map for the following day's itinerary, her tone sharp and efficient. "Join me at City Market at 9 o'clock sharp. Please ensure you arrive on time next time." He grasped the map, their fingers grazing briefly, and leaned in slightly, catching her by surprise. "You're quite the challenge, Lily," he remarked, his voice dropping to a low murmur, a playful wink dancing in his hazel eyes. "I appreciate that." She paused, her cheeks flushing against her will, and murmured, "Whatever," before turning away. As his footsteps disappeared into the throng, she remained rooted, gripping the clipboard tightly, her heart racing uncontrollably. Michael Hayes was a source of concern. She sensed it. Yet there was something in his smile that piqued her curiosity about the kind of chaos he might introduce. The morning sun poured over Charleston's cobblestone streets, creating elongated shadows as Lily stood at City Market, her clipboard secured under her arm. She had hardly closed her eyes, Michael's farewell wink from the day before replaying in her thoughts like a persistent tune. At precisely 9, he arrived, clad in jeans yet sporting a crisp linen shirt, his hazel eyes sweeping over the lively stalls until they found her. She dismissed the flutter in her chest, responding with a brief nod. "Just in time for a change," she remarked, pivoting to take the lead. "It's time to get going." They navigated the bustling market, where the aroma of sweetgrass baskets mingled with the enticing scent of fried oysters. Lily highlighted the vendors, sharing how Gullah women intricately wove history into each braid, her voice growing more vibrant with every word. Michael absorbed the information, his inquiries incisive regarding trade routes, ancestral lineages, and the city's battle-worn history. "You know this place as if it runs through your veins," he remarked, stopping at a stall to touch a woven coaster. "Were you born in this place?" "Almost there," she responded, gracefully avoiding the situation. "Did you grow up 10 miles away as well?" He merely shrugged and mentioned the East Coast, prompting her to let the matter go. Yet his ambiguity lingered in her mind, unsettling her. They proceeded to Rainbow Row, where the pastel houses shimmered in the light. She recited dates and names of architects, yet he continually returned to her, questioning why she remained, what she cherished, and what troubled her thoughts at night. "You're quite inquisitive," she said, adjusting her sunglasses. Intrigued, he amended, his smile effortless. "You possess a captivating allure that far surpasses these mere structures." She scoffed, yet his genuine nature unraveled her defenses, tugging at the seams she'd carefully stitched closed ages ago. Lily cherished the essence of Charleston, the narratives woven into its bricks, yet she had become protective of her own after a partner who dismissed her dreams as cute before departing. Michael's focus seemed altered, yet she remained skeptical about it. They approached the Battery next, meandering past cannons and live oaks adorned with moss. He inquired about her preferred place, and after a moment's pause, she gestured toward a serene bench that offered a view of the harbor. "There," she remarked, "sunsets carry a unique essence." He nodded as if cataloging the information, and she pondered the significance it held for him. By noon, they arrived at a quaint little diner on King Street, where ceiling fans buzzed softly above the checkered floors. Lily chose shrimp and grits, while Michael opted for a burger, playfully teasing about needing substantial food after her history lessons. As the server cleared their plates, Michael retrieved cash for the bill, discreetly sliding a $50 tip beneath the receipt. Lily's gaze sharpened, fixating on the glimmer of a polished Mont Blanc pen, as he jotted down a note for the waiter, overshadowing the meal before them. That wasn't just any travel attire. It exuded wealth, the sort you only displayed if you accidentally let it slip. She remarked with a probing tone as they stepped outside. "Generous." "The boy appeared to be in need of it," Michael remarked, tucking the pen back into his pocket. Yet she noticed the shift, too swift, too intentional. Her stomach churned. He didn't behave like the travelers she led, clutching their wrinkled maps and counting every penny. His inquiries, his nonchalance, that cursed pen, it just didn't make sense. Returning to her apartment that evening, Lily slipped off her shoes and picked up her laptop, the scene from the diner playing over in her mind. She entered Michael Hayes into the search bar, her fingers hesitating just before pressing enter. Results poured in. Obituaries, scattered LinkedIn profiles, and a hidden article from a New York publication reveal that the elusive investor Michael Hayes has acquired a historic block and then disappeared from the public eye. No image, merely whispers of a man who transformed decaying structures into treasures, only to vanish without a trace. Her heartbeat raced. Could it have been him? The dates aligned perfectly, yet the Michael she remembered donned scuffed boots instead of tailored suits. She continued to scroll, uncovering murmurs of transactions in Boston and Philly, a wealth crafted from intuition and hidden truths. Nothing is set in stone, merely enough to spark her curiosity. She closed the laptop, her gaze fixed on the ceiling. Lily was far from naive. Individuals concealed secrets, particularly those with a charisma akin to his. She had experienced the sting of betrayal, placing her trust in someone who turned out to be an illusion. Yet, Michael's laughter and his inquiries seemed so authentic, didn't they? As she moved restlessly through her small living room, she paused at the window, gazing out at the twinkling lights of Charleston in the distance. "What secrets are you concealing?" she whispered, her words lost in the city's relentless buzz. She would continue to lead him, but her gaze would sharpen, resolute in her quest to unravel the enigma of Michael Hayes before he unraveled her. The Charleston sky blazed with an orange hue as Lily secured her clipboard at the tour office, the warmth of the day still clinging to her skin. She had dedicated hours to leading Michael through the French Quarter, his inquiries about ancient churches and concealed alleys more insightful than those of typical tourists. Today, he was more subdued, his playful banter noticeably absent, yet his hazel eyes remained fixed on her with an intensity that ignited a blend of intrigue and wariness she couldn't quite dispel. With a swift motion, she tossed her bag over her shoulder, and he hurried to match her pace, the sound of his boots scraping against the pavement echoing in the air. "Hey, Lily," he remarked, his hands tucked into his pockets. "Do you have a moment to grab a coffee? This is my way of showing appreciation for your patience with me." She paused, her urge to flee clashing with the desire for clarity. That Mont Blanc, with its broad nib, was not tallying correctly, and she had to uncover the reason behind it. "Very well," she replied, maintaining a sharp tone. "A single coffee, there's a spot on Meeting Street." They strolled quietly, the city's symphony of bicycles and horse-drawn carriages resonating around them. In the cozy nook of Husk's Petite Café, they settled into a corner table, surrounded by the rich aroma of roasted beans and the soft strains of jazz emanating from a small speaker. Lily took a delicate sip of her latte, her gaze fixed on him from behind the cup's edge. Michael reclined, his linen shirt wrinkled from the day's adventures, and began with a gentle inquiry about her favorite Charleston festival and her most challenging tour group. Initially, her responses were brief and sharp, yet his relaxed laughter drew her closer, and before long, she found herself sharing stories about Spoleto, the bustling crowds, and the music that ignited her spirit. He focused intently, as if her words were a blueprint he was committing to memory, and it unsettled her. While many others lost interest, he remained engaged. "You're different from the rest," he remarked, stirring his dark brew. "This isn't merely about stating facts. It's about immersing yourself in the essence of this place." She shrugged, maintaining her defenses. "Feels like home. And you? What's your story? You evade every inquiry regarding your own life." Her voice carried a sharpness, challenging him. He placed his mug on the table, the warmth of his smile slipping away. "That seems reasonable. I suppose I've been fleeing from my existence." Previously engaged in the real estate sector, handling significant transactions involving historic structures in urban centers such as New York and Chicago, he had amassed a considerable fortune, pausing momentarily as his fingers rhythmically tapped against the table. Perhaps an excess, worn out by it all, the formalities, the greetings, the hollowness, arrived with the intention to take a step back and discover something genuine. Lily's fingers curled around her mug, her thoughts racing back to the piece she had come across. "Real estate," she reiterated, her voice devoid of inflection. "Are you referring to renovating properties for resale?" "More like neighborhoods," he remarked, then noticed her expression and leaned in closer. "Listen, I'm not trying to boast. I'm just pointing out that I've changed. I seek significance, not just another transaction. Her heart raced, the fragments falling into place too quickly. So you're, what, a millionaire pretending to be a backpacker? She asked, her voice climbing in pitch. Do you really believe you can stroll in here, behave as if everything is fine, and expect me to accept it? What's your perspective, Michael? His eyes grew large, taken by surprise. Perspective? Lily, this isn't a game. I shared that with you because I have feelings for you. I wanted you to see the real me, not just a facade. She rose, the chair dragging across the floor, her cheeks flushed. You just don't understand. I find it hard to trust those who conceal the truth, and it seems you've been doing just that all along. I refuse to be your project or a mere diversion. With a swift motion, she seized her bag, disregarding the stares from the surrounding tables, and marched out, the cafe door crashing shut behind her. The air was thick with humidity as dusk draped itself over the flickering gas lamps. She sensed his pursuit, his voice filled with urgency. Lily, hold on a moment. He grasped her arm softly, and she whirled around, her eyes blazing. Apologies escaped his lips, his breath coming in quick gasps. I never intended to catch you off guard. I wasn't concealing myself, I didn't want you to perceive me merely as a source of funds. I longed for your gaze to fall upon me. Her chest rose and fell, his words landing with a gentleness she hadn't anticipated. His expression was candid, unguarded, far from the self-satisfied smile she had anticipated. You should have said it up front, she snapped, though her voice trembled slightly. I dislike being manipulated. I'm not joking, he stated, retreating slightly to allow her some distance. I will demonstrate it. Please allow me to complete the tour. Nothing hidden, nothing attached. Allow me to demonstrate. With her arms crossed, she gazed at the cobblestones, her heart caught in a tug of war. His tone was earnest, yet she had encountered charming phrases in the past. Yet severing ties with him seemed unjust. Just one more day, she declared at last, her gaze unwavering. Make a mistake and it's over, he nodded, a glimmer of relief passing through his eyes. Agreed. As she walked away, her steps weighed down. Uncertainty wrapped around her like the warmth of the evening. Michael Hayes presented a facade that hinted at depths beyond the surface, perhaps excessively so, leaving her uncertain about her ability to rely on her instincts to discern the truth. The air in Charleston felt gentler today, infused with the salty essence of the ocean, as Lily guided Michael along a sandy trail to Folly Beach. The tours moved at a more leisurely pace with less emphasis on a rigid script. Following their confrontation at the coffee shop, she maintained her distance, yet he refrained from pressing the issue. His inquiries remained airy, his smile tentative, as if he were treading on fragile surfaces. She gestured toward the lighthouse far away, its white tower standing out against the blue, and shared intriguing details about shipwrecks. With a steady voice, she spoke, while Michael nodded, his hands tucked into his jeans, his hazel eyes meeting hers each time she looked his way. They meandered to a more tranquil stretch, dunes bordering the shore, and settled on a driftwood bench, the waves creating a soothing rhythm. He inquired about her existence outside of tours, pondering what she might pursue if financial constraints were absent. She paused, her sneakers sinking into the sand. She mentioned, with a hint of shyness, that she would establish a cultural center. A space for tales of Charleston, gullah melodies, cherished recipes, and history that invites exploration. Not dumb, he said, leaning forward, elbows resting on his knees. It seems like you preserving what truly counts. His tone was inviting, devoid of the polished allure she had prepared herself for. It released a part of her, and their conversation flowed longer, touching on street festivals, her father's low country boils, and the way she used to sketch houses as a child, imagining the secrets they held. Subsequently, they arrived at Middleton Place, where the gardens unfolded like a labyrinth of camellias and venerable oaks. Michael followed her along the winding paths, inquiring about her most cherished memory in this place. She confessed, halting beside a shimmering pool, that summer concerts held a special place in her heart. Reclining on the grass, surrounded by melodies. It was as if everything in the universe aligned perfectly. He smiled, as if he could perceive it, and she pondered why his silence enveloped her in such comfort. That evening, they found themselves once again at the beach, the tour fading from memory. The moon loomed low, casting a silvery glow that danced upon the water while they settled on a blanket she had retrieved from her car. Michael gazed at the horizon, a sense of unease replacing his typical calm. "I got burned once," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "The girl I envisioned marrying. She adored my wallet, not me, vanished with half my savings when I proposed, showed me the art of concealing my true self." Lily's breath hitched, her fingers twisting the edge of the blanket, his pain reflecting her own, unrefined and visceral. She took a deep breath, then began to speak. "Mine was more straightforward. The person I cherished claimed I was overwhelming, too boisterous, too rooted in this place, and chose to walk away for someone indifferent to it all." Her voice trembled, and she averted her gaze, the waves becoming indistinct. Michael pivoted, his eyes unwavering. "He was mistaken. You're just enough. You exist in reality. Such a rarity." His words settled gently, akin to a reassuring touch, and she locked eyes with him, finding no trace of pity, only raw honesty. The atmosphere surrounding them grew dense, electrified by an unnamed tension. She sensed her defenses tremble, the ones she'd constructed following treachery, and it frightened her as much as it exhilarated her. They lingered in silence, the tide inching nearer, their shoulders barely touching. She yearned to draw closer, to release her grip, yet the specter of past hurts restrained her. Michael remained still, a steadfast figure against the cool embrace of the night. "Have you ever considered the possibility of people beginning anew?" he inquired, flicking a small stone into the waves. "At times," she whispered, her voice just a murmur against the crashing surf. "Should they possess the courage?" He nodded, a subtle smile emerging. "We'll find out soon enough." They gathered their things with a deliberate slowness, the blanket weighed down by grains of sand, and made their way to her car in quietude, the moonlight casting a gentle glow behind them. Lily's heart pounded, a subtle pain blossoming in the space once occupied by fear. Michael defied her expectations. He was neither deceitful nor a flirt, perhaps not even a misstep. As he bid her good night, his figure gradually disappeared into the shadows, while she lingered by her car, the key chilling against her palm. "He's not what I dreaded," she mused, the words laden with potential. "Or could it be that I am the one mistaken?" Charleston City Market thrummed with the energy of Saturday crowds, the air rich with the aromas of kettle corn and leather, as Lily led Michael through the vibrant stalls. She indicated a vendor skillfully crafting wooden spoons, her tone unwavering even as the warmth of his shoulder grazed against hers. Their evening by the shore had rendered her uncertain. His narrative, her personal revelation, the way his gaze intertwined with hers, as if she were everything. She tried to suppress it, concentrating on the tour, yet his soft chuckle at the street performers juggling continually drew her attention away. They lingered at a jewelry booth, Michael tracing the contours of a silver oyster pendant, as Lily engaged in conversation with the seller. A man clad in a polo shirt came to an abrupt halt, his gaze fixed intently ahead. "Hayes," he called out, his voice carrying to catch attention. "Michael Hayes, it's truly you." Michael tensed, letting the pendant slip from his grasp, but the man was already reaching for his phone. "Hey, it's been ages since that Boston deal. I figured you might have taken a vow of silence or something." Lily's expression darkened, her stomach churning as Michael struggled to maintain a cheerful facade. "Not the right person," he remarked, guiding her aside. Yet the man captured a picture, smiling broadly. "Of course, my friend." As they approached the next block, Lily's phone vibrated. Mia sent some messages along with a link to a nearby gossip site. Millionaire Michael Hayes seen with enigmatic companion in Charleston. The hazy image captured them at the booth, her laughter ringing out, while he gazed at her. Feedback accumulated. Short-lived romance? Her motivation is purely financial. Her cheeks flushed, the clamor of the market becoming piercing. She paused beneath the palmetto tree, her hands trembling as she navigated the screen. "What on earth is this?" she exclaimed, thrusting the phone toward Michael. "Your friend spills the beans, and now I'm portrayed as a gold digger in a gossip magazine?" His jaw clenched, his gaze darting across the screen. "Lily, this wasn't part of my intentions. That fellow is merely an unpleasant individual I encountered briefly." "Absolutely," she retorted, her tone escalating. "Is it just a coincidence that I'm being criticized online? You pull me into your lavish escapades for what purpose? To enhance your image? To seek the spotlight?" Her chest rose and fell, past betrayals surging forth. She had placed her trust in him, revealed her inner self, and now she found herself the subject of ridicule. "Lily, no," he insisted, moving nearer, his tone soft yet filled with urgency. "I seek solitude, not the spotlight. My intention is to escape, not to be noticed. I regret that this occurred, but I would never choose to engage with you." His hand extended toward hers, yet she recoiled, her eyes aflame with intensity. "Then why am I the one feeling humiliated?" she said, tears welling up. "This wasn't what I agreed to. The tour has concluded, Michael. It's time for you to seek another player for your game." She pivoted, pushing her way through the throng, her sneakers striking the ground with determination as she abandoned him in that moment. As night fell, she found herself secluded in her apartment, the curtains tightly closed, her phone switched off to silence the incessant notifications. A gentle yet persistent knock echoed through the silence. She opened the door to Michael, his shirt wrinkled, his expression weary. "Listen to me," he urged before she could shut it down. "I reached out to my contacts, editors, and others. That post is taken down and I managed to get him to stop talking. Your name won't be in print." With her arms crossed, she leaned against the doorframe. "What makes you credible in my eyes? You have a talent for concealing matters." "Because I care about you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Not headlines, not deals, just you. I regret not alerting you that this might occur, but I'm working to resolve it. Allow me the opportunity to demonstrate that my intentions are sincere." His gaze locked onto hers, unwavering and imploring, and she recalled the shoreline, the way he had absorbed her words, the pain he had revealed. Her fury splintered, uncertainty trickling through. "You have one chance," she stated, her tone unyielding. "No more unexpected twists or I'm out for good." He nodded, a sense of relief washing over him, softening his features. "No unexpected twists, I promise." He retreated, the threshold now bare, the stillness of the night punctuated only by the sound of her quickening heartbeat. Lily closed the door softly and sank down against it, burying her face in her hands. Michael's realm was more expansive and chaotic than she had envisioned, leaving her uncertain about the validity of his assurances. She would remain, yet a sense of unease tugged at her thoughts. What was his true desire, and would she be able to endure the revelation? The Cooper River shimmered in the warm glow of the late afternoon sun, its edges adorned with marsh grass, as Lily laid out a checkered blanket close to Ravenel Bridge. She had consented to one final day on tour with Michael, her anxiety heightened following the market scandal. Yet his soft apology and swift resolution with the gossip column had prevented her from turning her back. He proposed a picnic, free of plans, just the two of them, and she packed sandwiches and lemonade, attempting to overlook the warmth of his smile as he sat opposite her, his jeans speckled with sand. They savored each bite, the gentle hum of cicadas intertwining with the faint sound of distant boat horns. Michael inquired about her childhood, the bike rides through Charleston's alleys, the summers spent shucking corn with her mom, and she responded, her defenses lowering with every laugh he elicited. He revealed little, yet when he did, tales of sneaking into deserted structures as a child, pursuing the phantoms of the past. She glimpsed the person behind the wealth, the one who had opted for her seaside revelation over a luxurious high-rise. Yet, uncertainty hung in the atmosphere, thick as the oppressive humidity. As the sun sank low, he reclined on his elbows, his hazel eyes meeting hers. "Lily," he murmured, his tone soft and measured. "I have something to express. I'm captivated by you, deeply, not merely because you're my mentor or a narrative I weave, but because you are authentically you, insightful, genuine, everything I never realized I was missing. Her breath caught, the sandwich slipping from her grasp. The words struck with the intensity of sunlight, both warm and dazzling, yet a chill of fear quickly followed. Michael, please don't, she urged, her voice strained. You simply cannot comprehend. Your reality is worlds apart, filled with grand estates and private jets. I work at the ticket counter and live in a cozy studio apartment. This is ineffective. It can happen if we choose to, he remarked, propping himself up, his hand lingering close to hers. The rest is of no concern to me. I care about us, she said, shaking her head as she stood, the blanket gathering beneath her feet. We don't exist together. You're lost in a fantasy, while I've endured too much pain to share in your dreams. Her chest tightened, his honesty piercing deeper than she had anticipated. Yet she averted her gaze, clutching the picnic basket to steady herself. The following morning, they hired bicycles to explore the West Ashley Greenway, a serene path bordered by pines. Lily pedaled ahead, her ponytail dancing in the breeze, striving to escape the haunting echo of his confession. Michael maintained his stride, his quiet demeanor thick with unspoken understanding. The trail grew tighter, roots weaving their way across it, and her front wheel snagged one, yanking sharply. She propelled herself ahead, crashing into the earth with a sharp intake of breath, her knee scraping painfully against the rough gravel. Is that you, Lily? Michael dismounted his bike in an instant, kneeling beside her with a blend of tenderness and urgency as he examined her leg. Are you all right? Hold still for a moment. He retrieved a water bottle from his backpack, meticulously tending to the cut, his brow furrowed with concern. She flinched, yet his touch, both strong and gentle, kept her in place, her heart pounding for reasons that transcended the impending fall. I'm fine, she muttered, pushing his hand away. Yet, he remained near, effortlessly wrapping a bandana around her knee as if it were second nature. Cease your fretting, she urged, though her voice trembled, his worry breaking through her defenses. No one had ever gazed at her in such a way, as if she were delicate yet deserving of rescue. As she closed herself off from everything around her, he leaned back, his gaze probing into her eyes. He spoke softly, sharing that he chose Charleston for its reputation of mending broken hearts. I believed it was mere conversation, until our paths crossed. You are everything I desire, Lily. No one else will do, no other existence can compare. She gazed at him, the path hushed save for the sound of their breaths. His words settled deep, as tangible as the ache in her knee, yet the clamor of self-doubt surged even stronger. She fell short, inadequate for his realm, his riches, his entire existence. You don't understand, she said, her legs trembling as her voice faltered. I don't measure up to your world, Michael. I never will. He stood there, his face marked, yet she retreated, clutching her bike tightly. Lily, that's not. He began, but she interrupted him, cycling back to the rental shop, her eyes brimming with tears she refused to shed. He trailed behind, allowing her the freedom she needed, yet the intensity of his presence lingered like a flame at her back. As she abandoned the bike and made her way home alone, the words tumbled forth in a sob. I'm not enough for your world, she whispered, the river's shimmer fading behind her. Her heart caught in the struggle between his truth and her fear. In the bustling streets of Charleston, whispers floated through the air as Lily diligently punched tickets at the cruise dock, her jaw set firmly against the warmth of the morning sun. The market photo ignited a frenzy, with blogs dubbing her the tour guide pursuing millions, while colleagues exchanged hushed whispers, their looks laced with skepticism. Mia sent a message expressing regret for urging her into the tour, yet it did little to ease the sharpness of a barista's whispered remark. Guess she's set for life now. Lily's skin felt like it was on fire. She had never desired Michael's wealth, yet the world only perceived her through the lens of currency. Michael confronted his own tempest. As former acquaintances from New York, those hedge fund types and yacht owners, inundated his phone with messages that masked their smirks, all while he mingled with a charming local. He brushed them off, yet the barbs struck true, echoing the agreements and meals he had abandoned. He had arrived in Charleston seeking truth, not mockery. Yet here he found himself justifying a decision they failed to understand. He arrived at the dock at noon, his flannel shirt wrinkled, his gaze unwavering on Lily as she averted her eyes. He inquired about lunch, his voice barely above a whisper. She shook her head, sifting through receipts with a strained concentration. "Lily, please, let's have a conversation. I understand things are tough outside." "Unfavorable?" she snapped, her gaze finally lifting. "I'm a laughingstock, Michael. They believe I'm just after your money. My boss even asked if I'm leaving for a more lucrative opportunity." "I can't do this," she said, her voice breaking, hands shaking. "We ought to pause before the situation deteriorates further." He advanced, the dock groaning beneath his weight. "Cease? No. I'm not fleeing due to what others say, and you shouldn't either." His tone was resolute, yet his eyes conveyed a silent desperation, and she loathed the way it pulled at her heartstrings. "It's more than mere words," she remarked, glancing back. "This is my existence. I don't belong in your world, and I never will." She turned away, departing from him by the water, her heart weighed down by the desire to glance back. That evening, Lily sank into her couch, the TV humming with the monotony of local news. She stood still as Michael's face filled the screen, live on a Charleston talk show, his shirt crisp and pressed, but his jaw clenched as if bracing for battle. The host leaned in, radiating warmth and cheer. "So, Michael Hayes, enigmatic millionaire, what's the story behind you and this tour guide?" Michael remained unperturbed. "Her name is Lily Gwynn," he stated, his voice crisp, slicing through the ambient noise of the studio. "My affection for her is genuine, rooted not in rumors or trivialities, but in the depth of her heart. She is genuine, more courageous than anyone I've encountered, and no words can alter that fact." The crowd fell silent, then erupted in applause, while the host hurried to maintain the pace. "She isn't just a tale," he continued. "She's the one I've chosen." Lily's breath hitched, the remote tumbling from her grasp to the floor. His words flowed freely, unfiltered and bold, breaking her doubts into a million pieces. The screen shifted to callers expressing admiration, strangers touched by his stance, and she sensed the burden of their scrutiny ease, giving way to a more comforting feeling. She snatched her keys and dashed to the studio downtown, her sneakers splashing against the slick pavement left by an unexpected drizzle. Michael stood outside, solitary beneath the glow of a street lamp, his phone lifeless in his grasp. He raised his gaze as she neared, a look of surprise gently transforming his expression. "Is that you, Lily? I saw you," she said, breathless, halting just inches away from him. "On television, you truly meant every word of it." "Each word," he remarked, moving nearer, droplets of rain clinging to his hair. "I'm fully committed, Lily. Are you?" Her throat constricted, a tumult of fear and desire intertwining. After years of shielding her emotions, his voice and determination for her shattered her defenses. "I'm frightened," she murmured, "yet my love for you remains strong. I'm not entirely sure how this operates, but I'm eager to give it a go." His smile unfolded gradually, genuine, as he enveloped her in his embrace, her cheek resting against his damp shirt. The city dissolved into a haze, the whispers turning into mere background noise. "We'll figure it out," he said, his lips gently grazing her forehead. She nodded, her hands clutching his back, determination anchoring within her. If the world had a voice, they would confront it together, regardless of what lay ahead. A year had gone by, and the summer air of Charleston enveloped Folly Beach in a gentle warmth, the sky painted with shades of coral as the waves caressed the shore. Lily Hayes stood barefoot in the sand, her white sundress dancing in the breeze, a delicate silver band shimmering on her finger. She chuckled, tucking a stray lock of hair behind her ear while Michael threw a frisbee to a cluster of children nearby, his linen shirt casually unbuttoned at the collar. Their wedding was a serene affair, taking place in a garden at Boone Hall, attended only by family, Mia, and a guitarist strumming soft low country blues. Without the glare of cameras or the buzz of news, just promises exchanged with a tender kiss beneath the sheltering branches of an oak. Lily's life had transformed, not into Michael's riches, but into a shared creation they had forged together. She left the cruise dock behind, dedicating herself to a quaint cultural center on East Bay Street, a warm space with creaky floors, walls adorned with Gullah art, and tables where children could learn basket weaving or listen to tales of the city's history. Michael had been her steadfast support, employing his expertise in real estate to secure the lease and manage permits. Yet he allowed her to take the lead, his pride in her more profound than any transaction he had ever completed. They called it Low Country Roots, a tribute to her aspirations and the history that captivated her. Today, the center was alive with the excitement of its inaugural summer festival. Children raced along the shoreline, gripping kites designed to resemble shrimp boats, as their parents enjoyed sweet tea beneath colorful striped tents. Lily stood at the booth, patiently instructing a girl in the art of braiding sweetgrass, her hands unwavering as she directed the small fingers with care. Michael approached her, balancing a tray of lemonade, his smile beaming. "You're a natural," he remarked, placing the drinks on the table. "This location, it embodies you, Lily." With a gentle smile, she swept the sand away from her hands. "It is we. I truly appreciate your support in making this happen." He pressed a gentle kiss to her temple, fleeting yet tender, and she nestled closer to him, the noise of the crowd dissolving into a soothing murmur. In the beginning, there were murmurs, doubters labeling her as ambitious, his longtime friends dismissing their simple life. Yet the clamor faded, their affection grew stronger, grounded in shared mornings over coffee, evenings spent organizing plans with takeout, and instances like this where everything seemed perfect. A young lad dashed forward, clutching a crooked basket he had crafted. "Miss Lily?" Observe, he radiated joy, and she knelt, admiring his creation, her eyes sparkling. Michael observed, his heart constricted by an emotion more profound than mere pride. He arrived in Charleston in pursuit of an elusive sensation, scarred by treachery, convinced that genuine connection was forever out of reach. Lily had transformed everything, her passion, her spirit, the way she stood up for what was important. Once, she had felt fear, worried that she didn't belong in his universe. But now she was the center of his universe, and he would never part with that. As twilight descended, the festival came to a close, kites stowed, tents neatly folded. Lily and Michael remained, assisting volunteers with the cleanup, their laughter blending harmoniously with the ebb and flow of the tide. They had initiated complimentary history excursions for schools, with Michael at the wheel of the van, while Lily wove enchanting narratives of pirates and poets. The children adored her, and he cherished the moments spent observing her brilliance, her insecurities hidden beneath the life they had created together. As the shoreline lay deserted, they strolled to the water's brink, the sand pleasantly cool beneath their feet. The horizon shimmered with a warm amber hue as the sun descended languidly, and Lily intertwined her fingers with his, her ring sparkling in the fading light. In the first year, she whispered, her tone gentle, "I can hardly wrap my head around the fact that we actually did it." He drew her near, encircling her waist with his arm. "Embrace it, you're bound to have me around." She chuckled softly, giving him a playful nudge, yet her gaze remained steady and reassuring, filled with warmth. They confronted uncertainties, controversies, and the lingering shadows of past sorrows, emerging more resilient, not due to fortune or wealth, but through their daily commitment to one another. The waves came in, soft and unwavering, as they remained there, shadows against the dimming light. Charleston lay behind them, its spires and secrets silently observing their tale. A guide who had renounced romance, a wealthy soul concealing his emotions, discovering solace in one another's embrace. As the final rays of light faded away, Lily leaned her head against his shoulder, the sunset affirming an unspoken truth. Their love transcended reality, an unyielding force, a tide destined to guide them through any storm. As the sun dipped below the horizon in Charleston, a gentle purple hue enveloped the sky, while the waves murmured softly against Folly Beach. Lily and Michael stood together, hand in hand, their silhouettes merging seamlessly with the sandy shore. A chance encounter marked by a missed opportunity and a tense moment evolved into a profound connection that endured whispers, skepticism, and the challenges of contrasting backgrounds. Lily, once shielded by the pain of lost love, unearthed bravery in Michael's unwavering spirit, while he, a man enveloped by the weight of riches, uncovered authenticity in her passionate essence. Together, they created more than just a cultural hub. They forged a life, demonstrating that love requires no wealth, only the courage to embrace it. In the cobblestone heart of Charleston, their tale unfolds, reminding us that often, the most profound journeys are not about destinations, but about the individuals who transform our lives completely. If the story of Lily and Michael ignited a fire within you, showcasing how a tour guide's passion intertwined with a quest for authenticity, and how they battled for love despite the challenges, then come along for more adventures. Join the Soul-Stirring Stories channel, where each narrative ignites hope and honors the bonds that unite us. Smash that subscribe button now and let's embark on the next unforgettable adventure together.